Hey there, everybody. Good evening. Happy Friday to all. This is Mark the Mortician, really coming to you live from my computer on YouTube, and it is literally live. So I hope everybody's doing well. Sorry I haven't on. To all of my new subscribers, hello, welcome to my channel. Please like and subscribe to it if you feel that this has any value, this adds any information to your life, or whatever. So sorry, my dog is jumping on me. But I just wanted to take a quick moment to reach out to all my new viewers and say hello, introduce myself, Mark the Mortician, still in the business. And I wanted to talk to you about the National Board exam that I've taken. Sammy, get down. Sorry. That I've taken, and what I did to prepare for it. So first of all, I've been out of mortuary school since 2012. Okay, so it's 2021. Yeah, that's a long time. That's a long time. Almost 10 years, right? Almost 10 years. So that's not something that I would recommend you doing. If you're in mortuary school and your goal ultimately is to take and pass the National Board exam, do not wait several months or several years thereafter you graduate to take it. Start studying immediately while your brain is fresh with all of the material, while your brain is fresh with everything. Sciences, arts. Some states you can have a dual license. Some states you can have just an FD license or an embalmer's license. Whatever you feel your strengths are. So with that being said, I'm proficient in both. But now I'm just sticking to funeral directing. I really don't want to be in the prep room unless I absolutely have to. So, all right, getting back to the National Board exam. So once you're done mortuary school, they should have, some mortuary schools, mine did not. We kind of made them have a review class. Some mortuary schools, they have a review class, and you actually have to pass the review class in order to be allowed to take the National Board exam. Now, this behooves you in several different ways. One of those ways is, if you're not ready, you'll know it because of the reviews. If you just passed your curriculum for mortuary school, arts and sciences, and you cannot pass your review classes, you're probably not ready to take the board, and maybe the teachers kind of just pushed you through, hoping that you would, a light bulb would go off somewhere up here. Ding. Okay, I get it. I need to study. I need to do this or that or whatever. Hoping that you would do that as an adult, be responsible, or you just don't get the information. Therefore, how did you pass mortuary school? So it's, those are all the variables. But let's say, however, for the sake of time in this topic, that you passed mortuary school, all your classes, funeral directing, accounting, history, sociology, psychology, embalming, chemistry, anatomy, restorative art, all of those you passed, right? So now you're done with the actual curriculum, and you have to go through a review class. Now that's an intensified class. What I mean by that is you literally have, I think, a week or two to go through each and every subject within 1 or 2 weeks, every subject, and you have a test. Or maybe it's a few weeks. Maybe it's a few weeks. Each week you have a different topic. So the first week might be funeral directing, Monday through Friday or whatever. At the end of the week, you have an exam. You pass the exam, you move on to the next topic next week. So let's say you do that. That will behoove you, and if you learn from that, if you study from that, if you study for that, that will behoove you in the long run. So let's say you pass that, your review class. Then the school will allow you to take the national board exam. Sometimes it's part of the school's curriculum that you pass their review in order to take the test. And they can and do and will prevent you from taking the national board exam if you cannot pass the review. So my school didn't do that. I went to a New England university that had offered mortuary science, which included both arts and sciences, of course. So we asked them, we came together as a group and said, hey, listen, we're approaching the end of the courses, and we would like some sort of review. Is there something that you can put together for us? And they did. But silly me, I did do well in the review. They didn't actually test us. We just kind of did it ourselves with the teachers there, but we did well. But I did not schedule the test at all. I got involved in other things at the funeral home, and I let it lag. And I'm like, I can put this off for 6 months. I can put this off for a year. The internship, the internship up there, depending on what state, is 5 years. That's a long time. So if you graduate mortuary school in like your second year of your apprenticeship or internship, like you can lag for the remaining 3 years. So that's kind of what I did. I would not recommend that. I would not recommend that at all. So you want to take the national board exams as soon as possible when you're done with school, after you've passed the required review, if there is one. So I forgot, but I'm still in the business, so I knew a lot of terminology, and I didn't realize I knew it until I actually started studying it. But I'm in the business, and I also do real estate, which you all know. If you subscribe, then you know me. But I wanted to focus on this because this is where my heart has been for a long time. I've done law enforcement, had things not transpired in my life the way they had. I'd probably be like a chief of police somewhere up in New England. I was dispatched for a while, and I was moving my way up to reserve officer. So by now, in my mid to late 30s, I probably would be high up there because I'm a go-getter and I'm a worker. All right, with that being said, let me not get off course. So I slacked. I was working at a theater. I was having fun. I just got laid off from a funeral home up there, and it was very nice. They had 3 properties, very, very nice funeral home. And that was because, you know what it was because of? I'll tell you. That was because of my internship was about to expire. So once that happened, you can no longer be in the preparation area doing any type of work. You can no longer see families, direct funerals, whatever. You're just going to be that 65, 75-year-old person, retired person that just needs a part-time job just to get out of the house. That's what you're going to be. But you went to mortuary school and you graduated. So don't fall into that. So me, 12 years later, I think 12 years, whatever it was. I graduated in 2012. So actually, we're almost to 10 years, right? I lagged. I slacked. I lived life. I was living a different kind of life out here in Florida. It was very, very different. And I'm like, wow, I could get used to this. And I did, kind of. I kind of got in like the whole retirement thing. Don't do that. If you want to be a funeral director, do it soon. Okay. And I'm telling you, do it right after your reviews. If your school requires that, do it right after you graduate and have an associate's degree. Look at the dates, schedule an exam, and have that mental note in your mind to know, okay, I scheduled my exam 3 months out. So every week, I'm just going to, you might still work, you might work full time, sure, and that's great. Do it. Every week, schedule, time set aside for different subjects. This week will be funeral directing. Then the next week, we're going to go over accounting, and just do that until like the last week of that you have before the exam. I didn't do that. So the ownership of my funeral home, very nice, very humble, he gives grace. Okay. He gives grace, and he is the one that inspired me after a lot of stuff has gone on within this industry. There's a lot of backstabbing. There's a lot of jealousy, envy. It all amounts up to nothing, but there's a lot of it. And I overcame a lot of it. I overcame all of it. But I still said, maybe this isn't for me. And it really had nothing to do with them, but it did. So I went into theater. I was working at a theater up there. It's a cabaret. We had a restaurant and a theater. It was great. And that was my life. That's all I did. And then my dad moved to Florida. And I said, I want to be closer to him. So I came out a couple of times and I threw some resumes out. One stuck to the wall. I got hired, and that was that. But that's what brought me to Florida, okay? I'm giving you a little backstory. So I've been in Florida for almost 7 years. I think 7 years in May. May has already come and gone this year. So it has been 7 years. So with that being said, I've worked at maybe 2 funeral homes and gotten experience. I did my whole internship in Florida. I am done. So all I need to do is take this test, the National Board Exam, this stupid blah, 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 exclamation point, National Board Exam that is hindering me and not allowing me to advance my career. So I said, and this owner of this funeral home, I don't mention names. He knows who he is if he would see this video. The owner of the funeral home got into my head and he said, "Kid, I see something in you. I see a want in you, a drive in you. I see a passion in you, and you need to get it out. You need to expel that. Our families will love you. You have a genuine care and concern for people in this industry." And I'm like, well, my daddy didn't send me to mortuary school for nothing. So I thought, maybe he has a point. But then I thought, oh my goodness, like now comes all the studying. So this is what I did, right? 10 years out of school, not studied a word for anything. I hired a tutor. It was all virtual because of this wonderful pandemic we're in, which is fine anyway. But it was all virtual. We met once a week. Then it became once every other week. He had a very busy schedule. And if he sees this, he'll know who I'm talking about. Like, that's one thing we really needed to fix, and I just let it go because I got nervous. I got anxious. A lot of things were going on. My home life, work life, just everything. So, we at one point we would have like a lag of 3 weeks where we didn't meet, and I could have used that 3 weeks to advance my knowledge. Nonetheless, we got it done. Maybe once every 2 weeks, once every week, once every 2 weeks. We got together for 2 hours. And he didn't say, oh, that's 2 hours, got to go. No, if we were working on something, he did it and we finished. And that's the point, what I'm trying to make. So I did that, 6 sessions, 2-hour sessions each. And then he quizzed me at the end. But then in the interim, I hired another tutoring company. And so the first tutoring company was from Varsity Tutors. They link you up. They pair you up with somebody who they think can help you. And in retrospect, they know what they're doing. And then I hired another company, which my first tutor introduced me to. It's called the DEAD program. It's literally DEAD, and it's DEAD Assessment Education Drills. And that's all you do is take tests. They drill you on what you know and what you don't know. And you can take as many of them as you want. Art, sciences, different sections, word scenarios, some accounting if you need it, psychology, funeral directing, crematory, cemetery, legal regulation, whatever it is you wanted to work on, boom, they had it. So I'm telling you, I did this for about 3 months, and then 6 days before the exam, my exam that I scheduled and that I kept. Here's another thing. Once you schedule it, keep the day. Keep the day and know that's your day to do or die. I kept rescheduling it. Like, oh, I'm going to reschedule it for next week or maybe next month or maybe 2 weeks from now, whatever. I would go on all the time and see what they had because I got nervous, right? The owner was in my head. Mark, you can do this. Mark, you've got this. Mark, just go in and take the exam. And I said to him, sir, with all due respect, I love that you have that kind of faith in me. I love what you're saying, but I haven't opened up a book for funeral service in a very long time. I need to prepare. And he understood that completely. And he probably, hopefully, admired that I wanted to better myself, that I wanted to prepare. I did not want to fail. I did not want to not succeed. Okay. So I hired a tutoring company. That went well. I hired another tutoring company, Debt Assessments, and I would just do test after test after test, several tests a day. Even at work, even at the office while we had services going on, I might do like a 30-question quick test just to test my knowledge on legal regulation. But then they had a tutoring, they offered tutoring sessions through their DED website. So I had 3 additional. So I hired them and I had 3 additional tutoring sessions with an entirely different company. Okay. So between the two, I felt amazing.